Hello, everybody, and welcome to Conversations with Shawna. I'm so excited to introduce the guest I have here today. But before I do, for those of you who are joining us live, say hi and let me know where you're coming in from. And if you're on the replay, give us a hashtag replay so we can say hi later. And if you're coming in from my Powerhouse Women group, Women Empowering Women, just click the StreamYard link above to give permission so we can see your lovely face and who's commenting. So for those of you who I have not met yet, my name is Shawna Roche, and I'm a transformational coach. And I work with my clients to help them through fear, doubt, and uncertainty into love, expansion, and possibilities. And having said that, I'm so excited today for one of my guests to introduce to you my beautiful coach and mentor and the lovely Joy Kingsborough. Welcome, Joy.
Thank you. I'm so excited to be here and have this conversation with you. Thank you.
Yes, and today we're going to be talking about sacred self. And Joy is a visionary, activist, mentor, and conscious channel. For those of you who do not know Joy, Joy is the creatrix of mastering, tongue-tied there, mastering the brain game, the Kingsborough method of transformation and mind shift, which is a beautiful course I'm in right now, and it's so exciting. These programs were designed to elevate your consciousness and your life. Her corporate career and degrees in psychology have led her to a unique blending of spiritual and practicality that feels fresh and welcoming to those who are just awakening to their spiritual gifts and those who are well worn on their path. She channels a stream of consciousness known to her as Jonah. Aww. They have been working together for more than 20 years and have consistently developed messages that resonate with a high level of love and compassion for humanity. Together, Joy and Jonah are devoted to inspiring, mentoring, and spiritually advocating world changers. Their work is helping consciously motivated, impact-driven, loving leaders embodying their role as creator with the universe as the universe. It's just like taking all that in. So beautiful. Oh my goodness. Welcome again, Joy. Thank you for being here. Jen's with us. Hi, Jen.
Hello.
Yes, love, Joy, and Jonah. So, Joy, my dear, let's dive in, because today I invited you here because I want to talk about your Sacred Self community.
Yeah.
It's such a beautiful community. And, we've talked about here, like one of the things that like raising your vibe requires a personal relationship with your body. And you help us in this community raise our vibe, get connected with our bodies. We have the conversations with Jonah. So let's open up and talk about that.
Yeah. Let's just dive right in. I thank you. Thank you for the introduction, and thank you for making space for this conversation, because the world is so disruptive right now. There's so much going on, and the solutions feel like they need to be so big.
Yeah.
And I think that was one of the main reasons why I was really inspired to start the group, is that really the solutions are simple, but it requires our focus and attention. And so the group is like a touchstone. And so when we're talking about raising our vibration by knowing our bodies, I always giggle because people are like, I want to raise my vibe. I want to get it up there, like I got to have that high fly vibe thing, And I'm always like, raise it to what? Like, do you even know?
Yeah.
And I think that's they don't. Some do, right? But a lot of times, and I didn't know in the beginning, I was like, I don't even know what that means. Raise my vibe. I think it means feel really good or in flow, or, there's all these ideas. But to know what frequency you're actually running means you actually need to know what's going on in your body. You need to be able to interpret your body. You need to be able to feel an emotion and not be afraid of it, or feel a sensation in the body and go, oh, I'm getting feedback. I'm having a conversation, so that you can continually move into the vibration, that it's not a static experience. You don't raise your vibe and stay there.
Yeah.
Right? It requires a touchstone. It requires commitment back to it.
Yeah. Oh, I love that you said that. And it was really interesting how you were weaving, you were talking, and it was like, it made me really think about when you were sitting there and you were just saying how our emotions and being okay with them. And really, I think that's hard for some people, especially in the beginning, to actually sit with your emotions and to be able, because I think there's a part of, on this journey in the beginning part of it where we're scared to sit with our emotions. We're scared to find out who we are inside, because like, what if we don't like that person, kind of thing. So we start putting up all these like little walls that,
what if what others say is true? Right? What if all the things coming at me? What if I'm not good enough? What if? And you already think that. I mean, that's what, putting it back, you already think those things about you. And it's by not sitting with those emotions and not sitting with those feelings and not paying attention to the body that you'll never change it. Because you have no other influence. You only have external influence to go by. You only have other people's opinions, or what you see in the mirror, or what you read on your Facebook feed, or wherever you are. You only have external evidence to go by. You don't have another source of information. You're cutting yourself off from you. Right? And so being brave enough to realize that it's not going to be worse than what you already think, but it just might be better.
Yeah.
And 100% of the time, it's better.
It's better. Yeah.
Well, 100%.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And that's one thing with your community too. Like today, I was going through some stuff this morning, and some fear, some doubt was creeping in, as it does. And all the training with you and all doing the things. And then it was just part of me. It was like, normally I'm really busy Thursday mornings, but I actually made a commitment to not go into one group and to come into your sacred community today and listen to you and Jonah and have that conversation and hearing the messages. And I love that when the messages come through, it's like all of us, it's the collective need to hear them. And after listening, I think I came in a few minutes late, but listening, came in at the perfect time, because I was like, oh my gosh, that's what I needed to hear today. And that's the power of it too.
I love that, because that's what I craved. I've been channeling. I'm not sure how many in your audience really understand what that is. But channeling is about a conscious stream of information that's flowing through. And I've learned to allow that information to flow through. And so it's a very distinct vibrational frequency that I can feel and interpret, similar to interpreting emotions. I can just interpret this intelligence that comes through. But what I love is I was asking for grace. I was asking for peace. I was asking for love. I was incredibly depressed, massive anxiety when I first started chanting, before I met Jonah. And I just wanted love. And I feel like that's really, above everything. Jonah will bring forth answers, and he'll help people pivot, and he'll help people shift, and he'll help people awaken to themselves. But most of all, he just wants people to feel the love. Right? To do whatever they need to do to allow themselves to be loved by themselves and to be loved, feel the experience of love with others. And, I would say every human is craving more of that. And that's what I love about that work, is I feel like I can show up to do that, to allow that experience to happen. I show up twice a week in that group, and I love it. I love it because I get to feel that with everyone.
Yeah.
And it really is extraordinary. And so it's such a unique way, because I get to feel it coming through, and it's coming through me, not from me. So I get to love it as much as I think other people love being in that space.
Yeah.
Which is really cool.
Well, and it is. It's such a beautiful space. Jen was just saying here, yes, I feel the love so deeply. Yeah. Hi, Jackie. Thanks for joining us. Yes. Yes, the sacred. Oh my goodness, totally. And then we have Jen here, and I love how many people are coming, yes, into this space. Yeah. Well, and I think now is the time to have this community, to be able to go there, and it's like I was saying, you don't even have to come up with a question yourself. You can just listen. Get so much from it. And I think that is so, I know it's what's needed in the world right now, because there's so much confusion out there, and so many people, like you said, like even depression, anxiety, like all of this stuff, and like even like mental health, it's all rising. like so much right now with everything going on, and communities like yours are just, oh my goodness. It's like, I just want
Mhm.
everybody to come to your community. And it's like, it's like just come in, try it. Like just having those activations and having like the sessions today. Like I'm looking at the clock right now. It's like 111.
Mhm. Mhm. That's
Um,
synchronicity.
yeah, and it's like, and then and it's like, yeah, it's today's one of those days where it was so impactful that listening, it got me out of where I was into a place of totally coming from a place of love. Mhm.
Yeah. I love that. And that's one of the other things is even when you can't be live, I love what Jen just said. It really, that the answers just get addressed.
Yeah.
And the other piece that I was really feeling in that is I think there are very few places that we can go right now. I mean, literally, but there are also very few places we can go, even in the online space, when we're wanting to experience that higher vibe or that growth and expansion. There are very few places that don't require us to grow every moment, right? Where it's like you can come into the sacred self, and wherever you are, you can just tap into a recording, you can tap into an activation, you can come in and listen to a conversation, and you don't need to fix anything. There's no agenda, there's no homework. You
Yeah.
just get to feel good for a bit, and then it helps you to shift without having to do a lot. And I think we need more of that ease. There are times for work,
Yeah.
right? There are times for that inner work and the outer work, but there are also times when we just need to soothe the soul
Yeah.
and know that that's enough and that's moving us forward. Right.
I love that you said that because Megan's here too. Hi, Megan. I'm giggling. Sorry, Megan. I didn't make it to your course today. I was with Jonah. And you know what? I just really needed that today. It was like my soul did need to be soothed because I have been like this week. I've been full on doing, creating, and to a level I've never done before. So
Yeah.
it's really, really exciting. And I've spent crazy hours in my office that I haven't done since I probably worked full time.
Mhm.
Since I had a job, I still work. When it's fun, it's not considered work, right? Again, it lights your soul up. But I just found that today, for some reason, when I got up, I actually shut my alarm off and I was like, you know what? Today feels like ease and flow. I just need to
Mhm.
have some ease and flow today. I don't want to get up and start going. And I did a meditation this morning. And then I was like, no, I don't want to dive into any courses. I don't want to do anything that refers to my brain. But then, like I said, then all of a sudden some stuff started creeping in, and yeah, it just bring tears in my eyes that I was like, I need Jonah today. I just need to listen. And
Yeah.
it's so powerful that afterwards I was like, oh my goodness, I just wanted to dance around the house. I was like, okay, I'm good now. I'm all good.
I love that because you didn't even ask a question. You were
I
just
know.
listening in. Yeah.
I was just listening. And I was
Yeah.
like, I just love the questions. And I was just like, oh wow, because every single one, there was something you could relate to. And it's magical when you're live and it's magical when you're on the replay. So it's like you can get so much out of it. And oh my goodness. And let's talk about for a minute because I just have some key points here I want to discuss with
Yeah.
you. What's Jackie saying? Take the time to let the soul catch up. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So your intuition can be held back based on our senses of self, love, or worth.
Yeah. When enoughness is really the thread of what I feel like is flowing through this conversation and through the community is the sense of enoughness that everybody's craving. When we don't feel enough, we don't trust the messages that come.
Yeah.
Right. So when we don't feel worthy of hearing something positive for ourselves, we have a difficult time then taking action on it. And so that makes sense from the mental perspective, right? If you're not really lit up by your own life and you're not really trusting yourself and loving yourself, it can be very difficult to know whether or not your own self or your higher self or that intuition is trustworthy, right? Because it's always going to be limited or filtered by what you believe. So if you don't believe you're trustworthy, then you can't possibly believe that source would trust you with the right information. It's just not going to happen. So recognizing that you're loved, that even if you don't fully trust yourself, but you're so loved, and that you're willing to love yourself, you can open up just a little crack in your being where even if you don't fully trust yourself all the time or fully love yourself all the time, if you're willing to love yourself for a few moments, that intuition can come through. You can trust it in that moment. You can take action on that moment. And then it shifts you and it helps you to believe in yourself and source just a little bit more. And so those journeys go hand in hand. The more that you are developing yourself, right, which is, developing your love of every experience that you're having and developing a love for the body you're in and the thoughts you're thinking and what you want and all of those things, the reason you're here, when you fall in love with all of that, then it becomes natural that of course you'd be intuitive. Of course, source would want to talk to you. The universe would want to have conversation. God would want to have tea. Of course, right? Because it's you, right? And so it begins to have a two-way street. One of the ways that I love to explain this is that imagine having, some people think, well, who would you most want to have lunch with? And, people like name somebody that seems like so much bigger or better or more exciting than them. And, that person wouldn't be as lit up to have lunch with you because you think they're so much greater.
Yeah.
So it wouldn't be a two-way conversation. That person would be giving the whole time. So you have the same thing with source. If source is always giving and you don't feel worthy of giving back, you're cutting off the flow of that energy. But when you know who you are and you give back love and appreciation and gratitude and you're part of that spiritual conversation, and source is like, yeah, now we can play. Now we can get some stuff done. You realize that you are great enough, expansive enough, extraordinary enough to meet me in the place of our dreams. Yeah. Because if you get a dream from spirit and you don't think you can do it, then what?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it really is connected.
I love that. I love that. What's Jen saying? Absolutely, because you are magical.
We are. We are magical. If we think anything less, we haven't gotten it.
I use that word. I just love the word all the time now. It's like so. I just love magical. Everything's magic. Everything's wonderful, and it is, because we can sit here and I can have those moments where it's like, yeah, I'm in my power. I feel magical. Everything's bliss. Everything's wonderful. But there's the human side will kick in, and it's like, and then it's like fear, the doubt, things will creep up, and it's like, who are you to have this big vision? Who are you to have this? Like, look how old you are. Are you freaking kidding? Like. And then all of a sudden, like all the questions, all the things come up. And then, but I love how you said that. It's when you just, really is just truly taking that moment. And like you said, just opening up that crack and just loving yourself. And so I found, like, even for me this morning, I was just sitting there with my hands on my heart. Like I was just like sending myself love and hugging myself and going, no, it's all good. Like these thoughts are going to come in, but let's just navigate this. And
yeah, there's no thought or no doubt or no fear or anxiety or anything that you can experience. There's no external experience you can have that will stop you from being able to love yourself right now. There's just nothing. And there's nothing that will stop the love of source, of the universe. Nothing. Right? It is infinite. And we forget that. Right? And we need touchstones. We need reminders. Even if we know the answers, we need touchstones. Yeah. And if we don't know the answers, it shifts us. But even as we land into it, there's a lot of people that, we've been playing in this space for years. And I've been playing in this space for years. And I still need a touchstone. Like, oh, right. I'm the stuff of source. Is all as well. And coming back to that remembrance while we're on this journey. Yeah.
Well, I write down part of I have my pretty thing in Canva with my affirmations, and at the bottom I added the one that from Transform Live last year, from Transformation Live, your live event that was spectacular. And it's like, I lead with love and love leads the way. And so that's something that I just I'll when I'm having those moments too, I'm like, it's like a mantra in my head. And it's like, okay, we got this.
Yeah. And I'm loving that, we've been doing, the group's been going for a while. I think you've been in it for a bit. But we've been going since last October, when I really got inspired because of the body was such a priority. As I was going into the end of the year, it was really clear that something was happening. Our bodies were going to take center stage. This was going to be a year we were thinking about our well-being and safety and our body energy. And so since then, we've accumulated weekly activations every week since then. So there's this whole library of things that it's like, no matter what you're feeling or what's going on, you can just like pull that one out and be like, okay, I'm going to listen to that one. And it can just align you for, whatever's shifting. And I'm really excited about that. That was something I was looking forward to starting the group, is having this beautiful library. And now we have it. So
yeah, I know, exactly. And it's so powerful. And I'm inviting those who aren't part of the Sacred Self community, I'll put the link in here later, to come join it, because I love that you said that. And thank you for saying that. But yes, the library, you can just go and listen to those. And the activations are so powerful. And even like for me, sometimes I've missed them. And then I go back, like it might be a Tuesday or something, but then it's like, I just trust that when I do sit down, they're right for me at that time. And it's so beautiful. Hi, Heather. Thank you for joining us. Hello, Haley. So let's talk about have here, we need nothing outside of ourselves to experience massive success. Yeah. And I think this is a big one for a lot of people listening.
There's always that, especially, as entrepreneurs, think you gather a lot of entrepreneurs, a lot of people with big dreams. There is this feeling that if I just get the next piece of information, or I hire that PR person, or I hire the marketing person, or the Facebook ad specialist, or the whatever it is, that's going to make my business. Or if I connect with that circle of people, if I just knew them, they could connect me to people, right? Like that's one of the ones I hear all the time, is if I was just connected to that person, they could introduce me to this other person, or, there's a lot of these energies. And the truth is, you are one of those extraordinary people that people want to meet too. And what's inside of you is everything that you need. And even if there's some wisdom that could come from the external world, the inspiration to get the information the information only works when that inspiration is guiding it. So if you are pulled to take a class because you fear you're going to miss out on something really cool, or it's a means to an end, like I've got to do this, the program, or I've got to hire this person, or work here, or I got to know this person, or go to this event, or whatever it is, if it's coming from a place of that's the next thing outside of me, that's the next thing that's going to, totally make or break my business, or would totally support me, if it doesn't come from a place inside of your body, it's not going to work. Because only the inside knows the truth of what's needed. And it needs an experience, not a thing. You remembering your power, you remembering who you are and what you bring to the world. That's all that's needed. Right? Which is what the activations are. They're reminders. They're not giving you anything you don't already have. They're reminding you where to go inside and look for it. Oh, you're looking for confidence? Guess what's hiding over there underneath that organ? And it's in those cells there. Oh, you don't feel enough? Oh, let me show you where all your enoughness is right now. That's it. It's all in you. And we don't take time to explore the inner landscape enough to know that for sure. I certainly didn't in the beginning. I was like, what are you talking about? Just, I want to hire them and they'll do the thing and that'll fix it. And end of story. Right. And it just didn't work. And so now when I see people doing that, I'm like, I love you. Don't do that. But everybody's journey is perfect. Right. We all do what we need to do to get there. But yeah.
I love that you said that, because that totally been there. Oh, I just need this. Okay, I just need this one. I just need that. And there's now when I have signed up for a few other courses, because that's what I do as well. But
and it's fun. It gets to be fun. Yeah.
But I came at it from a different perspective this time.
Yeah.
Instead of feeling like, oh, I really need that, it's like, I want to go here with my business. Yeah. So where, what's my next step? But it's like, what do I want to dive into? What do I want to bring into it? And so I looked at it from a different perspective versus I need this. It was like, okay. And it changed the energy for me. And so now it's like, it's so exciting. So I love that you said that, because those activations are so powerful because you are going inside. And especially, like, it's interesting too, because I've had conversations with people too about, a sacred self. And then it's like, let's talk, like, and then they're like, oh, so what does that mean? What does that mean? And it's like, it's really interesting because it's having those conversations. It's almost like having a conversation with me 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Or 2.5 years ago, right?
Yeah.
And then trying to explain that. And sometimes it's like, come into the group and experience it.
Yeah.
And then you'll start to understand about your sacred self and how, right? And you're and aligning yourself and going inward for everything. And the conversations with Jonah just bring everything that all of a sudden so much makes sense that I couldn't possibly even put into words in a conversation sometimes.
Yeah. You learn to invest in you, right? And that's what I was really hearing in how you made the choice of the programs to take, is you're like, oh, you're investing in your journey. You're investing in what you want to experience, not something you need. And that's what the Sacred Self community opens up to, that really simply and gently and lovingly, by just provide, like I always say, at the surface of it, if you think about Sacred Self, it's a place to come and just nourish your soul, to be gentle, to like ease in. It's like the spiritual hammock. So you get to come in and you just lay in the spiritual hammock and you listen to a track, right? And that's what the activations are. You're listening to that and you're remembering who you are. It's kind of like when you have a dream, when you're literally in the hammock and you're like, oh yeah, I could do this. All that inspiration comes in. That's what an activation is. It's just bringing you back to that. So you get like this hammock time once a week. And then the questions are the place to get curious and a place to ask questions without feeling silly or like that it doesn't matter, that whatever it is, it could be a big question, a little question. It's a place to witness yourself, to hear yourself, to connect, and then to hear that others have the same questions. Yeah. Right. That you're not alone. And the community is extraordinary. Everybody's there with such love. Everybody honors that sacred space. Mm-hmm. And yeah, like just come hang out in the hammock with us. Yeah. And have a place to connect in. Right.
Oh my God, I love that analogy. Heidi's saying the same thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just love that analogy because it is. It's like, I love that you said that. I'm just being like, oh, I'm going to go in the hammock today. It's a hammock.
I have to put that on the website, a little hammock.
Yeah,
it's a place exactly. For your spirit.
Yeah, that's going to be the thing. Oh, sorry, Bernie. I'm going to go in the hammock.
I need a little hammock time. Yeah.
Oh my God, I love it. Oh yeah, Jen saying, yeah, come hang out in the hammock. That's going to take a whole other life, Joy.
Right? I'm in.
Oh, I love it. I love it. Oh my goodness. But yeah, that's what it feels like. Definitely. It's just it's so beautiful. Okay, one more thing here. I just wanted to talk to you too. It's we put here, peace, love, and wealth are easy to experience when we unify our mind and body and listen to them together instead of separately.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That lights me up. That awareness, I have to say that it's the one that excites me the most to know is true. Yeah. That when you do come into alignment, it really does flow. Yeah. It's just understanding what that alignment means. It's not a trick. It's not like, like we said, I got to raise my vibe and get there in the beginning. It's recognizing that there is a perfect alignment. It's a sweet spot is what I call it, where you're you. It's not an alignment with anybody else. And that's why it's a little bit like getting to it, only you can get there because it's only yours. It's only your alignment. And it means your mind is participating with what your higher self's dreams are, the part of you that dreams and visions and gets excited. And, all that's happening from higher self with the mind participating. Doesn't happen from the mind alone. The higher self comes into play in that space with you. So those two things are together. And then the body, when the body is talking, you're like, oh yeah, awesome. Okay, so we're going. And it's like the body being that signal in the car that says, I know you guys are excited, brain and higher self, but we're running out of fuel. So I need you to stop and do this. And so the body is always giving feedback. And if you're always listening and you're always grateful, like, oh, thank you for telling me so I didn't run out of gas, right? And you make space and you're always in conversation, then you always get there right on time, You always have what you want. It's always enough. In fact, it's more than enough.
Yeah.
It gets to be enough and more,
Mhm.
where you've always got enough fuel, but it's like, where you get to a place, I always say I've turned into my dad in that I like to fill the car up every time I get to half. I don't want it to be lower than halfway. I like it to always be full, and that I really enjoy that.
I do that too.
Right? So it's the same thing with the body. You get to a place where you're like, oh, I really like to always have energy. I don't want to wait till I'm depleted to take a break. I don't want to wait till I'm depleted to nurture myself or for self-care. I want to be in a continual state of high vitality. And so when you listen to all of those, you are. And then the result is everything in the world wants to be with you too. Because there's a natural law of the universe where the energy is, the energy flows.
Yeah.
So if you've got the energy flowing and you're in your own natural cycle and you're being you, the whole entire universe can see you, is present with you, is supporting that, wants that to grow and expand. And so the money flows, the vitality flows, the connections flow, all of that just happens without effort. Right? And as long as you're listening and you know that it's infinite and that there are moments when you're going to be easier, where you're going to be in the hammock, where you're going to be navigating some things so that you can be in that space. And I have to laugh when clients are like, it works. So I did the thing for 10 minutes and then the money came in, and I just giggle because I'm like, I didn't invent it. This is how it works.
Yeah.
Like this is the way that it works, and there's no guesswork in it.
Yeah.
Right? Which is so beautiful. So it's so freeing. It's so freeing because you don't need to know all the little pieces because you know how it works.
Right. Exactly.
You're in the flow of that. So I'm really passionate about people, of course, feeling the love and being at peace, but also what happens when we do that. Because I think that over time, by being in the sacred self community or being tapped into communities like this, you create a flow in you. It becomes habitual. Yeah. And when you do that, it becomes habitual for money and other things to want to be present. So it just creates that unification, that alignment, that energy of ease with those things that you're really craving to experience. So instead of having to get them, they're just part of your life because of that habit of being you.
Yeah.
So there is a much bigger impact to this than in the moment in the hammock. It's awesome, but there's a buildup. There's a collective process that shifts over time.
Yeah.
And so that's why we made it a membership. That's why we made it monthly. Come and go as you please. There's no requirement. You can be there for a month. You can be there for a year. It doesn't matter. It's month to month, but it allows you to develop and nurture that in a way that serves you.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, exactly.
Figure those pieces out. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. You said it so beautiful. And I love it because now you got me like stuff where I'm like doing the infinity and I'm like in the flow. And then I laugh because my tattoo is the heart and infinity. And even when I got it, it stood out for me at the time. And now I just I'm like, oh yeah, I'm in the flow.
Right. We're totally connected. We're in the flow and we're connected. That's what I love about the infinity symbol. Everything is that. We're connected to all of it and flowing. We're just experiencing it, exchanging. You experience it, I'll experience it. Everybody gets to experience it. And it's just moving in that infinity. Yeah. It's so beautiful.
Oh my goodness. I love it. Oh.
I love this cover. I'm like, I get like, well, I just got off that call. So I'm still feeling the energy of it. But.
I know, exactly. Me too. So thank you so much for being here today. This has just been wonderful. And thank you for those of you joining us here live and on the replay. And I'll put the link in to join the Sacred Self community. And I hope to see everybody there. It's such a beautiful space. Come hang out in the hammock with us.
Come take a break. Take a swing.
Take a swing. Such a beautiful conversation. Thank you, Heidi. Yeah, it is. I mean, anytime we're in Joyce, we're in the flow with joy.
I make you move. The energy.
Magical. Thank you so much for joining me today, Joy. This has been an amazing conversation, and I'm wishing everybody a fabulous Thursday. Thank you for joining us. Take care.